which woman who on there supporting this foolishness will agree with Lincoln being over them if the courts are ruling in their favor? And then you come back on the show tonight as if you're trying to retry this case. Why are you trying to retry this case? You can't retry the case. The case is already tried 3 times, 4 times. If you count it properly, 4 times. It done retried 4 times. The Supreme Court didn't rule against you. The Appeals Court didn't rule against you. The Privy Council said they didn't rule. That's it. Said there was another ruling that they make, and the judges decide that they ain't like that ruling. So I only count what you say. But if I look at the rulings that I have, I see 4 of them. Why are we still going through this? And now we at a place where the courts, the people can embarrass you by putting out a notice in the newspaper telling you, get your backside to court. What the hell kind of party leader that is? Get it together. You ain't get to office yet and being an embarrassment? Is this an indication of what is to come? Y'all better stop doing fool mine. The appellate court ruled that the trial judge's rejection of the forgery story was not plainly wrong. In other words, the judge believes rule, and the appellate court don't second guess credibility findings lightly. Okay? But we head to the Privy Council, which is the final stop. Because of course for Lincoln, this was not over. Lincoln took the fight to the highest court available, the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council in London. In July 2025, the Privy Council made it crystal clear there were concurrent findings of facts by the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal, and absent exceptional circumstances, they would not disturb those findings. So Lincoln said tonight, oh, I didn't lose because they just agree that they ain't going forward with this matter. No, you lost. You lost. Once they did not decide to hear your case or rule in your favor, you lost. You lost in this case 3 times. In 3 courts. Don't back down from that. If I lose, I lose. People are coming to me and say, hey, Sarge, I say, no, the police fired me. They fired me on April 15, 2024. I ain't in denial about that. I got fired. That's just the way it is. I can speak my good and my bad. You lost the case. You may feel that it was handled unfairly, and that's fine. But the courts ruled. Once the courts ruled, you don't have a right to now decide that you can do your own thing. You ain't paying the woman until the lawyer get proof of life and the lawyers decide. This is why something don't decide. The decision is made by the courts. The court to make a decision. Go to the court and pay them the bloody well money and say this is in your real money. The courts, if the court want ID, they could demand ID. That's on them. The defendant don't get to ask for ID or the respondent. The respondent don't get to demand no ID. You lose, you go, you pay. And that's just the way it is. You lose.